Good day, my fellow citizens of Redmont. My name is Jordan, and this is part of TPA News' special coverage into the May 2025 presidential elections. We have here one of the leading presidential candidates for this election. We have here current representative Kaiserin. Hello there.
Hello. Thank you for
Um,
having me.
Good day. How are you doing today? Just to start this interview.
I'm doing pretty good. I woke up like 3 hours ago, so I'm still a little bit waking up. So if I'm a little bit quiet or mellow, that's why.
I see. I see. Don't worry, because I haven't slept.
Oh, so we're in the
So we're
opposite
we're like the complete opposite.
situations.
Yes, we're the complete opposites. First question for this interview is that the polling corporation did a global ratings polls, and the results show that you have quite a remarkable advantage to your what is considered your main contender for this election, Bezer Geezer and Jedi. What do you think about what do you have to say?
Well, the first thing I always say about polling is that it's the devil. It is almost never accurate in real life or in game. Not like down to exact, anyways. So I always take polling with a grain of salt. But one thing that really struck me about this approval poll was the really high response rate that they got, which I think it was about like 50 people, which is probably about a third of the actual voting count that there will be. So I was really excited to see this result. While I don't think that it's going to be quite as much of a landslide as the poll did indicate, which was it was some crazy amount like 40-10 first preference votes. I don't think it's going to be anywhere near that close, but I think it shows a really good projection for our campaign. And I think it indicates that, I mean, hopefully we're doing something right and we're on the right track.
All right. Speaking on your lead, are you confident that you're gonna win, or do you have any doubts, or maybe something that might happen?
Um, well, going in, I have to say that I am confident. I'm not certain, obviously. I try and maintain a sort of sense of like reasonable doubt. I'm still going to be out there campaigning as hard as I can. I'm still going to be out there fighting for every vote. But I'm pretty confident going into it between the polling and between the large inactivity I've felt from Bezos' campaign. I think we're on a good track. I do put a pretty good percentage like chance of us winning. Not 100 though. Never 100.
All right. Let's go over to policy. What policy do you consider will be the most important to compromise on?
The most important to compromise on, you mean like in terms of maybe not like going exactly as we plan?
Yeah.
I think a lot of the spending increases will have to be subject to compromise. We have pretty big plans for things like increasing trade job wages, increasing government wages. We want to lower balance tax. And that has, I think, raised some eyebrows from, for example, the opposition. And something I've always tried to push in terms of criticism to those policies is that nothing is going to happen without like close, careful analysis. We want to have the DOC do like run all the numbers and see just how much we can increase spending, just how quickly we can do it. And so while I'm still set on carrying out every single one of the policies that I've promised in my campaign, if there was anything that had to see a compromise, those would be the kinds of things that I'm most willing to compromise in order to preserve the stability of our budget.
Speaking of that, I think you've partially already answered this next question, but with your proposed increased spending, how do you plan to prevent or avoid a deficit?
Maintaining the surplus is one of my biggest priorities. Right now, we are running a huge surplus, and we have been running a huge surplus for a long time. And it was growing up until just about last month. Uh, and that means that we have a lot of money to work with, but it's not an infinite amount. And so, as I mentioned earlier, we're going to be running the numbers. Something I'm keeping an especial eye on is with the Vanguard collapse, making sure that we have enough money in the bank to cover deposit guarantees. Of course, that whole Vanguard seizure is subject to a lawsuit right now. But yeah, we're going to be, for one, running all those numbers. For two, we're going to be counting on the recent property tax increase, which is one of the government's more stable income sources is from property tax. And we're going to be watching that carefully and seeing how much extra money that brings into the government budget and how we can spend that as responsibly as we can.
Alrighty. About the Plant Regulations Act, will your administration propose changes to those to the PRA?
We don't have any current plans for that. The PRA was the product of, in Congress, a really, really long and difficult negotiations sequence. And we want to maintain and uphold the compromise that it was. So, as much as our administration would like to see maybe even further lowering of, for example, C-plot limits, a number that we've floated around is a decrease down to 20. We don't see that as necessarily the best step in the immediate term. And we do also want to leave that more to Congress, as that is more Congress's purview to change those laws.
I would like to ask you one thing that has been cited as an issue among players, and that is that people can change their residencies very quickly. Well, if there's an Ventura elections, people could just switch there to vote, or if there's an elections in Oak Ridge, people could just switch there to vote. Do you have an opinion on this phenomenon, and do you plan to do anything about it?
Yes, absolutely. One thing that I have included in my policy platform is that we want to re-examine the town's rights executive order and other executive orders governing the sort of executive jurisdiction over the towns. And one of the things that I'm most passionate about changing in that is a change in the definition of residency, so that it can only be changed maybe once every 2 weeks. We're gonna examine the ability of like that time duration, but we do want to make it so that the people who are voting in every local election are the people that are actually living in that area and actually benefiting or feeling the effects of those elections. And we also want to make changes such that people can't hold local office in multiple towns at once, and you have to hold residency in a town for the entire duration of your term if you hold local office.
All right, let's segue to foreign relations. What's your plan on foreign relations with Alexandria, if elected?
I want to maintain as friendly for foreign relations as we reasonably can. I know that Prime Minister Dartenboy and I have pretty different political outlooks, but I am hoping that won't damage relations very much. I'm dedicated to peace and friendly foreign relations with Alexandria. I'm hoping one of the first things I want to do is, if it's not signed before the end of the current presidential term, getting a treaty of mutual recognition up with Alexandria. And I also want to see if we can go about instituting foreign trade with Alexandria, staff allowing.
If staff allows, do you intend on considering foreign relations in other servers and or in other servers or countries?
Staff has made it very clear that they do not want foreign relations with other servers, that we're not allowed to recognize them, we're not allowed to deal with them. And so currently, no, I don't think that is on the table, despite the fact that I might personally think that kind of thing would add to roleplay, but it's not currently looking on the table.
Redmont faced a pandemic just a few weeks ago, which really tested the capabilities from both the Department of Health, from their response with their medical workers, and with the Department of Interior. Staff has done changes to reduce infectivity, significantly decreasing a chance of a pandemic. But if a pandemic happens, will your administration, if elected, consider establishing a sort of plan for a response for a pandemic?
Uh, yeah, absolutely. The pandemic really showcased the importance of the Department of Health and, as you mentioned, the DOI and gathering resources for the DOH. And honestly, I was pleasantly surprised that they managed to handle it fairly well, I feel. There was, as we know, there has been a shortage of doctors that did kind of shine through. Um, and that's something we want to address, is increasing the amount of doctors that we have. We want to be paying doctors more for their wages to ensure that they're getting properly compensated for their work, especially during pandemics like these. We have looked at streamlining the tender process for the DOI to ensure that they're able to get the DOH and other departments all the resources that they need as quickly as possible. And we've also looked at reintroducing paramedics and things like ambulances to ensure that people can get the quick care they need no matter where they are in the city to deal with difficult crises like this.
Currently, as of this moment, there is a shortage on judges in our country. What is your, if elected again, what is your plan to do to fix it?
Um, One of my quicker priorities is going to be proposing at least one, if not two, federal judges for the federal court uh, for review by the Senate, probably immediately after I get the cabinet set up. That'll be one of my first priorities. And I also want to place some pressure on the Supreme Court to get more magistrates appointed. We recently had one magistrate appointed to the district court. Uh, Down up from 0, and I think we need definitely at least 2 or 3, in order to properly handle the caseload, because from a legal, like, lawyer's perspective, the shortage of judges has really had a strong sort of stalling impact on the legal scene. Cases going months longer than they should, going weeks without a single post in the thread. And I want to not only improve that situation for the lawyers, but also lessen the burden on the judges that are already there, that are having to work incredibly hard to meet the high demand.
I think this might be my final question. What will be the biggest issue currently affecting Redmont that you plan to address?
I think one of the main things is just going to be stagnation from the government. We want to get everything not only into sort of working order from the sort of drift that every single branch of the government has been experiencing recently. We want to kick it into sort of high gear, making sure that everything is getting done and getting done right. And we also want to set the foundations to ensure that kind of thing doesn't happen again. We want to streamline processes, we want to set precedent, and we want to get everything as good as we can to ensure that the people of Redmont are getting the active government they deserve.
All right. I th- I think we're just gonna splice this before that last question, but just two more questions. I think one. do you intend to think that is it for this interview? Thank you for being with us today here at our studios at TPA. I think that'll be all for today. My name again is Jordan, and my side here is one of our presidential candidates for this election, Kaiserin. Thank you so much.
Thank you.